The murder case that took place in April 2017 in Tukai District, Haiduong Province, shocked the public when No Tan Kwong killed his lover Nguyen Thi Hai following a conflict over a personal debt. The tragedy stemmed from a broken romantic relationship that ultimately led to an irreversible act of violence. According to case records, No Tan Kwong and Nguyen Thi Hai met in 2016 when both had left their hometowns to work in Haiduong City. Hai worked as a garment factory worker, while Kwong did odd jobs to earn a living. Despite their hardships, the two developed feelings for each other through shared experiences and mutual support. Without the means for a proper wedding, they decided to live together as husband and wife in a rented room. Their life, though modest, seemed peaceful at first. Neighbors recalled seeing them often together, rarely arguing loudly. However, behind that calm exterior, their relationship began to show signs of strain. Kwong lacked a stable job and formal education, while Hai, though also struggling financially, was careful and disciplined with money. These differences in mindset eventually led to disagreements, particularly over finances. Without legal bonds or social safety nets, their relationship lacked a strong foundation to withstand such conflicts. What started as a loving partnership gradually gave way to mistrust and resentment. Financial stress and emotional fatigue chipped away at their connection. Yet Hai continued to support Kwong, including lending him money in times of need, perhaps hoping that their situation would eventually stabilize. Unfortunately, the trust and affection that once tied them together would soon become the very source of their downfall. When emotional pressure, financial disputes, and miscommunication collide, especially in a relationship lacking accountability, tragedy can become inevitable. The slow unraveling of Kwong and Hai's relationship came to a head over a debt of 26 million VND. In February 2017, Kwong found himself in financial trouble due to unstable work. Hai, trusting him and still believing in their future, lent him the money without formal documentation. Weeks passed, and Kwong remained unable to repay the debt. Hai began reminding him more frequently, her tone shifting from concern to frustration. Her patience wore thin as Kwong showed no clear plan to resolve the issue, leading to frequent arguments. By April, their financial disagreements had intensified. Hai's repeated demands for repayment were met with silence or excuses. Kwong, feeling increasingly cornered and emasculated, perceived Hai's frustration as disrespect. The emotional gap widened, and what was once mutual support turned into mutual blame. The conflict exposed deep imbalances in their relationship. Kwong felt powerless and dependent, while Hai assumed the burden of responsibility. Their communication broke down completely. The once tender relationship began to feel like a battle of pride, expectations, and resentment. This debt dispute was more than a financial issue. It became a symbol of broken trust. When partners see each other no longer as allies but as adversaries, even small tensions can ignite irreversible outcomes. The emotional tension between Kwong and Hai reached its breaking point on the night of April 23, 2017. Hoping to ease the situation, Kwong invited Hai to return with him to his family's home in Kentucky. Perhaps he saw it as a chance to reconnect away from the pressures of city life. However, the change in setting did not ease their conflict. Once home, Hai again brought up the debt. Her words, now sharper and more accusatory, deeply wounded Kwong's pride. When she went as far as to slap him, his composure crumbled. In that moment of rage and humiliation, Kwong lashed out. He covered Hai's mouth and strangled her. Though the act lasted only moments, its consequences were permanent. Hai's efforts to resist were in vain. When Kwong finally let go, she was lifeless. This tragic turn of events marked the complete collapse of their once close relationship. A single slap, a momentary lapse in control, resulted in death. Overwhelmed by guilt and shock, Kwong remained by her body, unable to process what he had done. This case starkly illustrates how unresolved emotional tension and unchecked impulses can transform love into irreversible loss, and a person into a criminal. After killing Hai, No Tan Kwong entered a state of shock and mental paralysis. The weight of what he had done crushed him. Instead of fleeing or hiding the body, he lay beside her in the small house, immobilized by guilt, disbelief, and despair. From the night of April 23rd until the evening of the next day, Kwong did not leave the scene. He neither ate nor slept, consumed by the irreversible reality of his actions. The house was silent, the air heavy with death. To those nearby, nothing initially seemed unusual. It wasn't until 9 p.m. on April 24th that neighbors, noticing that the lights had stayed on for an unusual amount of time and the house remained eerily quiet, grew suspicious. When police arrived, they found Kwong lying next to Hai's body, his face pale, his eyes vacant. He offered no resistance, said no words of defense. His mental collapse was evident. He had not planned the killing, nor thought of escape. It was a spontaneous act rooted in suppressed emotions and a complete loss of control. Nonetheless, under Vietnamese criminal law, his actions qualified as murder. Kwong had transformed, in one fateful moment, from a struggling partner into a killer of the very person who had once trusted and loved him. His remorse could not undo the irreversible harm.